everyone, and welcome to the Herpetoculture podcast. I'm Jason.
My name's Luke. Jesus, you butchered the
I
hell out of that
stopped
one.
once. That's the first time in how many episodes?
Oh, I think this is number 29 or 30 or something like that.
I was bound to do it once.
Oh, it's all right. At least nobody's hopefully listening by the end when I butcher each outro.
Yeah, they're probably hitting time for the outro and then probably just hit stop, but I'm right at the start of the episode, so that was gold. That was good. What's been happening, mate?
Oh, just like you, mate. Just working hard and hardly working at the same time. You know, it's busy times.
Do you get busy leading up to Christmas? You would, wouldn't you? Fair bit.
Shit, yeah. Like we've also just done a little bit of we've lost a couple of staff members and hired another 4 staff members. So I'm like busy training, and kind of pushing people in the right direction and seeing what they're up to and all the rest of it. Like it's just become a little bit more hands-on for me, but that's good. I mean, it's always good to have some fresh staff in that might come in with some more ideas and stuff like that. So
yeah,
but yeah, no, Christmas is like crazy town.
Yeah. I suppose it's better to be busy than quiet though. Sometimes I guess makes the day go quicker a little bit.
It does, definitely. And we've got a bunch of pygmy eggs in the incubator waiting to hatch and a waiting list that's probably as long as the amount of eggs I've got as well. So just got, what do we get? 17 Centralian carpet pythons into the shop the other day. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, so I got a whole stack of them. Haven't seen some of those for roughly a year now. So yeah, it's good to have some of those guys back in the shop.
You're not taking any home, are you, mate?
No, I actually, out of all Morelia, I really do love the Brettles.
They do look good.
Yeah. I've owned one personally, and I loved it as a snake, and I thought it was an awesome snake, and I reckon like a really cool Alice Springs style vivarium or something, like a really large one with a pair of those would look really awesome. But I've got enough crap here.
Yeah,
enough crap.
And probably after the conversation we had with Pete last week, you're probably thinking things a little bit different.
I'm still got my cogs turning in my head. I was just saying, like, that's just got me absolutely worrying. I'm looking around the room going, do I really actually like you, or what is it that's keeping you here? You know, like what is the value that we're bringing to each other and stuff? And I really enjoyed that episode. Hey,
yeah, it was good. It was really good. That was one I like you said before. You know, just to sit back and you can listen to it again, like you know, because he's such a good talker and he's got so much experience that you kind of ask him a question and he just answers the question and more. So, you know, when I sit back and listen to it again, I'm actually listening to it as a podcast, not listening to us.
Well, we don't have to talk really. It's just a quick question or something like that. And
I think I might have asked one question. I think you asked the majority of the questions. I was just like, it was good.
We threw Pete the ball and Jesus, he ran with it, and that was fantastic. It made for a really good episode. So I think we got a bit of good feedback on that one, which was awesome.
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah.
So I'm really stoked. What about you,
what
mate?
Are you cutting down on, mate?
Oh, I've got a few things that I reckon might get the axe, unfortunately, but I'm want to give it a little bit of time. I want to give it till probably about February or thereabouts, and just kind of see what happens. And it's tough because I really do love a lot of the animals here, but some things I'm just like, do I like you because you're here, or do I like you for the right reasons, or what's got me attracted to you and all the rest of it? And it's kind of tough, so I'm not 100% certain on a few species. I think diamonds are one of those ones that I have such a love-hate relationship with. I love them for the snake that they are. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Every time I see a wild diamond python, absolutely lose my shit, the excitement. But at the same time, I'm like, do I need to have you in captivity? Like, you're a species that I can find reasonably regular. And as
just
much outside,
as I do, pretty much.
Well, herp season's on. Like, I'm guaranteed to see a few of them pretty much, So it's cool to be able to appreciate a species like that in its natural habitat as well. And then I look at that and go, do I give that space to make a bigger roughy enclosure? Do I use that space to make a bigger green tree python enclosure? Like, that's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And, that's another one of those species that you also got to think about cost too, right? Like diamond pythons, you're putting large rodents into, whereas like green tree pythons, you could give them something like that 4 foot by 4 foot vivarium, and it gives them heaps more space. and they're also eating less. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like a win-win. The snake gets more room. He's getting a bit less food for me as well. So, it's all this stuff that it's like diamonds are one of those things that, because I've had one of them for, it's got to be 7 years now. I think I've had so it's kind
a
of
bit
like
sentimental as well.
So it's kind of like that. That's a tough call. It's kind of like that with my jungle carpet python as well. I absolutely love it a bit, but at the same time, I'm like, do I love you that much? Like, could you be somewhere else that might be a bit better for you?
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, cogs are turning.
Yeah, because I kind of had the same thought after as well, because I had all these things I wanted to get and this and that, and every time we talked about new different things, I thought, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind some of them too. But after that conversation, I'm like, I pretty much think I know what I want, and I'll stick with that. And especially starting to go herping a little bit more, I kind of seeing stuff in the wild. I'm like, I almost want to spend a little bit more time out and about photographing animals and seeing them in the wild, and still have a couple of things here just to, satisfy that itch, but just keep it relatively small and nice, larger enclosures.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of, I know what you mean. Hey.
Yeah.
And it's also the workload side of things, like, for example, yesterday was my only day off this week or whatever it's been. It's been a bloody week. And I was like, okay, I've really got to force myself to do nothing, because I'm like, I'm exhausted. I know I'm exhausted. I just need to, stop and chill for a while. And like the whole day, I'm like, oh, I should quickly go do this. I should quickly go do that. And like before I knew it, the whole day was gone pretty much, and I'd barely put my feet up. So
yeah,
I was like, oh, okay, just worked a whole day at home, which is, when you're keeping a reasonable collection of animals of any variety, that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
even last night, kids into the mix, and it's even more again.
Yeah, well, that's pressure's on at the moment. Let's just say that. The wife's biological clock is ticking a lot faster than mine.
Yep, there's definitely but I mean, it's the best thing you'll ever do. I reckon I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, the older they get, you can't explain it, honestly. Like, you cannot explain how good it is.
Everyone keeps saying that, but then I keep getting like all these other side things, right? Like, I've got 2 nephews, love them to bits. My godson, Rafi, he's an absolute wild child. He's only 1 and a bit, and he's walking and doing all that sort of stuff, and you cannot take your eyes off him for a second, because he's just like, he's off like a shot. He's on his own mission, whereas the other nephew, he's like quite calm, just sits there, plays whatever he's doing. You know that he's a good kid and he's there. The other one, he wears me out. Like the other day we had him around, and he's like doing laps of the stairs, going up and down the stairs, and I had to walk with him for ages just doing laps of the stairs. I'm like, I don't know if I could do it, kid.
I think it's different when they're yours,
because you have to put up with it. You don't have a choice.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's kind of like you only see that side of it. So, like it's the little things they do.
Yeah.
That makes, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, it's the little things they do that not many people see, that they do to you because, you're their everything kind of thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like,
yeah.
And it's some of the stuff they say and do and this and that. Like, but then other times you're like, oh my God, what have I done? But then they do something like that and it just all goes away.
Like, my boss was telling me a story the other day. Sorry, this isn't so reptile related, people, but just a quick, this is life type situation.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, like having my daughter was a fantastic thing, but the other day she came in, she grunted at me. She's just turned 2 herself, and she said, "Open your hand to my boss." And so I opened his hand, and she just put a turd in his hand. He's like, awesome. Where did this come from? Like, it's just that kind of stuff. I'm like, like, I'm pretty good around poo because, cleaning so many animals.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want that.
Yeah. It's, oh man, that's just hilarious because I can exactly see that happening because we're toilet training my son at the moment.
Yeah.
And he's kicked it out of the park. Like, he's not even 3 yet, and he doesn't even doesn't even wear nappies to bed now.
That's awesome.
He's wet the bed once. Like he's one of those kids that when he does something, once he does it, he's just like, nah, not doing whatever, like the other thing again. Like,
yeah.
But the issue we're having now is because he was started on a potty and then now he's onto the toilet. So he sits on the toilet, but he takes his pants off. Yeah. And now he basically, he won't pee unless his pants are completely off. Oh. So when you go to a public toilet, oh my God, it's so hard to try and get him to pee in the toilet. Like we went there the other, like we went when it got like picked our Christmas tree and that on the weekend and went and picked some oranges up at the farms up at Colnura and stuff like that. I had like a really good family day. And it's kind of good because I took the camera out as well. So I've actually been making sure I take the camera out to things to start taking a lot of pictures again and stuff. But he needed to pee and we're at a park as a public toilet. I should shut the door. He's like, oh no. I go, what's wrong, buddy? He goes, we're trapped. I go, mate, we're not trapped. I just shut the door and he goes, oh, okay, I need to wee. And I go, all right, just dropped his duds down and picked him up so that I didn't want him to sit on the toilet. And then he goes, no. I go, what? He goes, no, I need to take my pants off. I'm like, oh, okay. Take his pants off. And he's like hovering and then he just peed all over the floor and just completely missed the toilet. I was like, public toilet. And I'm like, I'm not even going to try and clean that up. It's just like, and then this same thing happened with my missus. I think it was yesterday. They went out again, but he wouldn't. He wanted his shoes and socks off as well. So she had to take his shoes, socks, underpants, and pants off before he'd pee in the toilet.
Bloody hell.
It's hilarious. Like, it sounds like a chore, but like when you're doing it, you're frustrated. But when you like look back on it, you just laugh. Oh man.
That's going to be some awesome 21st stories by the sounds of it.
He's got some doozies. Some of the stuff he does, like, yeah, you forget how much stuff he does, and then you remember it. Like you look at a picture and you go, "Oh, I remember that." But yeah, it's just it's definitely fun, definitely fun. So he's on a real turtle kick at the moment. So I have to try and finish this turtle pond.
Have you started digging the hole?
So I've got everything ready to go. I've got so this Sunday I've got to dig, because basically what I'm doing, I'm digging up the front yard. We're putting some veggie patches in. Then behind the veggie patches, I've got like a spot we're going to do the turtle pond in. So I'm basically going to dig the holes for the veggie patch, put the garden bed in for the 2 veggie patches, and then while I'm there, dig the dirt out of the hole, fill the garden beds up, and then get a little bit better soil sent in. So that's this Sunday's job. So that's why I was messaging you asking good height, because we're going to match the wall around the turtle pond and that with the garden bed, so it looks the same. So
yeah, cool. Oh, that'll be a mad idea. It's good to finally get a start on it, I suppose. It's
been like on my half finished enclosures.
Well, I can completely sympathize with you, because I've been trying to do this Felicipota tank, and like the foam's been carved for like 2 weeks or something now, and I haven't even laid any tile pointing down on it yet because I just haven't had the time to do it.
Yeah.
So, you're obviously a lot busier than I am generally. So,
yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of handy that I've still got all these exoterras floating about. So,
bloody oath.
Perfect for smaller hatchling / almost yearling chameleon geckos. So,
oh, the cat is out of the bag.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you were going to do that.
So,
oh, did you?
On Instagram. So the cat's out of the bag now.
I haven't been on Instagram.
Yeah, so I've got that nice enclosure that I've got to finish up for the chameleon geckos with your background. So keen to get that one finished and planted and get some of them in there. So
I reckon that'll look great with them in there. Hey,
yeah,
they are such stunning little geckos. Absolute stunners.
I'm kind of glad that I've got them back.
So you reckon a pair that you've got?
I don't think so. I think they're all males.
No, but that sucks. But you got to start somewhere, and at least you got a little, group of boys. If anything, then at least you got your males sorted. You just need to try to get
females.
Yeah, just 6 females or so, and you'll be laughing.
Yep. Yep. That's the plan.
That'll be a little bit of a hard thing to track down, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, that were probably my biggest regret moving on. So
It's funny how we always have these regrets, right? Like I do as well. Like Centralian Nobbies, they're like a massive regret of mine for moving on because they're such a cool gecko. But
like I would have just loved to have just kept them and nothing else.
The chameleons, yeah.
I'm just kind of tried to get a couple of different. I had a couple of pairs going, but try and get a little bit of extra ones and this and that, and get a like a nice little colony going.
Do you reckon if you could only keep one species, that would be the species, like reptile wise?
Yeah, I reckon.
New South Wales said tomorrow you can keep one type of reptile, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Either them or green tree pythons, but it'd probably be these guys first, purely because I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Now you got me thinking. It'd be either them or green tree pythons, I reckon.
What do you get out of keeping chameleon geckos, Jason?
What do I get out of it?
Let's get all deep and meaningful.
I don't know. Pete. I just yes, I know. It's got me thinking lately. I don't know. It's just I think it's how secretive they are, and I love the fact that you can do a nice display enclosure as well. Obviously,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it may be also obviously Lilydale High's done really well, but I don't know. I think it's like they're not not very common. In saying that, you don't see too many people doing well with green tree pythons, but they're a little bit more nutted out than these guys. I don't think they look so odd as well.
They're so unique.
Very cryptic. They're almost see-through. Like if you're trying, like you can probably see in the picture I put on Instagram, if the light shining behind it, you can actually not see through, but you can see like it's
like through the chest
light.
cavity sort of thing.
The chest cavity almost.
Yeah.
But
they are they almost look flat, like laterally compressed. Are they pretty skinny?
Yeah, they are. They're probably like as thick as my finger.
Yeah, wow.
But you have to come around and have a look.
Bloody hell. I want to come up. I'll need to come and have a visit now that we're allowed to.
Yeah. But they're just, I don't know, they're very unique. Like they're the only type of gecko in their genus. But they kind of look like the what are they called? There's a couple of geckos overseas that look very similar, like Paradora masobi, I think they are. I can't remember what they're called. Something along those lines.
Right.
But yeah, they're just so unique. I think that's what it is that gets me. And the space, like you could have like a trio, in a decent, it's like a small enough enclosure, like one of the, 600 cube or a 90 long by
that's
90 Exoterra.
So that's 600 cube. That's what you got, didn't you? That's what I built the background for.
Yeah, that's gonna be for a pair. So, because I used to keep them in the 90 long, 60 high exos, and then I had some in 45, 60 Exoterras. But I find just that little bit of extra width and depth. I find that's like I said before, the only thing I don't like with Exoterras is the depth, but that little extra bit of depth and width. The height, that I never really saw them. Obviously, I only had them in the 60 highs, but they kind of never really went right up to the top, if that makes sense. They kind of usually hung about 300 off the ground, obviously in ambush position.
Yep.
But I never saw them go super high. Like I saw a few enclosures years ago, people had like the 90 highs and that. I mean, I've got the space, but I don't think they'd utilize that as much compared to a little bit more floor area and extra branches and this and that. So
yeah, I think if I got stung, as much as I love all the animals here, it'd have to be the Gillens, obviously. Like that's a given. And I'd probably just cut this room off here and turn this into a big walk-in enclosure.
That'd be pretty cool.
And then just have like hatchy racks and stuff like that with all the Exoterras just for like raise ups and stuff.
That's what I'd do. Just have a bunch of these size Exoterras just for hatchies.
Yeah.
Have them nice and planted and
I've already thought about it, dude. Like one day, if it gets to that point, walk-in Gillens enclosure, I just want this little snapshot of like, center of Australia in my room.
But that room you're in now, though, there's a few things you could change and just have everything in that one room, but still keep a few different species in that room.
Well, that's the thing, is if I have a kid, it's going to need to sleep somewhere.
Exactly. So you kind of have to.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could. There's probably, I imagine there'd be a few things in there. You'd be like, oh, do I really need you? But you could keep you could definitely keep your greens in that room.
Yeah. I think as much as I love the leafies, I think I'd probably only keep the cornutus.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell would happen with Loki. Maybe the kid would have to share the bedroom with Loki. That might just have to be like a prerequisite.
Big waterbed.
Yeah. The kid can have a bunk on top of Loki's bed. Nice and warm in winter. Yeah. I don't think I could part with the roughies.
Yeah. Yeah.
The roughies and the greens, I think they'd have to stay. You see, the problem is I start listing things and I'll just go, no, it's got to stay. That's got to stay. Kimberly's got to stay.
Yep.
You know, like it's hard.
See, I'd happily get rid of everything and just keep the chameleon geckos. Been saying that, I probably would like at least a couple of frogs just in one enclosure. I don't know. There's something about them. They're just like different. I heard some parents calling the other night outside. So, you know, these guys are just starting up.
You what the red eyes are?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's coming into that time of year for them. Usually just December, January. I think that's when they're at their peak.
Yeah. So when we've had this lot of rain, I've been just upstairs and just kicking the Mist King on.
Yeah.
Like just turn it on. Like the rain will come in when it starts like pouring down rain. I'll just turn the Mist King on, just let it run for a bit, and that seemed to perk them up a little bit.
So this is a good little segue, because have you got the Mist King finally hooked up to Grid Connect?
Yes.
How did you do it? Because I was looking at it the other day and I was like, I've got like a little, like a single socket to do it. But I thought that I had, or maybe
So that timer that comes with it, I just got rid of that timer completely.
And then did you just plug?
Just plug the pump straight in.
Yeah, okay.
Because that timer plugs in like series. So basically your power plugs through the power through the timer from memory into the pump. Yeah. And then that's what tells the pump to start.
Yeah.
So basically you take that timer out, plug the timer directly onto the power source, the pump directly onto the power source, and the pump into the Grid Connect. But obviously the only downside is you've got to run it for a minute. But I used to have it come on every day.
Yeah.
But now I just drop it back a day.
Yeah, cool.
And run it for a minute. But obviously I just got to keep an eye on the reservoir a little bit more. But I mean, it's not.
Well, it shouldn't make a difference, because if you're running it every other day.
Yeah. But sometimes, but because I've been using it more, like rain comes, I'll turn it on.
Yeah, cool. That makes sense now.
But you could even like set it so, you know, when there's a thunderstorm, when it picks up, like the weather.
Well, that's it. You can do that on there, can't you? But the only downside is you'd have to see if there's a way to, like, you know, say run for X amount of minutes or something like that.
Yeah, don't come on and stay on kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think during
the
can,
3
actually.
During the 3 hour thunderstorm, stay on the whole period of time.
run the pump dry, burn the pump out.
There'd be some funky looking tanks.
Yeah. But no, it's it's good. I love it. I love having that option. Like I was out the other day and I'm like, oh, it's raining at home. I just checked the weather app. Because obviously, like I FaceTime the kids every morning, and Mrs. like, oh yeah, it's raining. So I was like, oh, got off the phone, just turn the Mist King on for a bit, just wet it down. But I noticed the plants have been growing quite a little bit more too. Obviously, it's this time of year as well. But you know, love that extra bit of water.
I feel like I've had really bad luck with plants lately, like really, really bad luck.
Yeah,
I've replanted a whole bunch of tanks here, and a lot of them have just died overnight. I don't know what's gone wrong or what I've done wrong, because I haven't changed anything, like lighting schedule wise or anything like that. But yeah, I've just had a bad run of plants where they're like all good, and then I put them in the terrariums and they're just like, whoop, gone. See you later.
Are you buying them and just chucking them straight in, or you kind of?
I buy them and I put them in the courtyard that's like a bit shady outside.
Yeah.
That only gets like very, very minimal light. And then they're doing okay out there, growing okay out there. and then I put them in underneath the LEDs, thinking, like, well, they've been adjusted
too
to
much light. Because you think
maybe
that's quite a bit like high light output. It's the right temperature, but it's constant, depending on the plant species too.
It's not super constant. So UV comes on until it's like 11 or 1. I can't remember in this room. I'd have to have a look. And then LEDs are on for about 8 hours a day. So it's not like it's a 12-hour period. So I've tried to reduce it a little bit in that sense. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. And some of those plants require a lot of light. Like some of them are like full sun, happy go-go plants. So
you got Miss Kings in those enclosures?
Not in all of them. Not in the ones that are the full sun ones.
Yeah.
Because they're more for my arid species. So I was just trying to plant some of that. You know that what's it called? You know the yellow flower that I had in the Aberrant's tank?
Yes. Yep.
Common everlasting. I was just trying to replant one of those in there because I took out the straggly one that I had that got a little bit wiry, and I put a new one in there, and then it just 3 days I think it lasted. Whereas the other one would have grown in there for like at least 3 or 4 months or something like that. Yeah, it was quite a while.
I was thinking actually, that one, yeah.
It probably would have been about 6 months.
Yeah.
That one was in there. But yeah, for whatever reason, no, just didn't like it.
So, yeah, right.
Bit weird. I'm thinking maybe I'm just going to go lazy and just put ficus and stuff everywhere. And
loves it.
You can do anything to it. Like the stuff in the Boyd's enclosure is going great.
I've trimmed my Boyd's enclosure back twice, and it's got more leaves on it now than it did when I first trimmed it down.
Yeah. I think that's something good with ficus too. Like I've already trimmed the Fimbria tank. Like I've done that 2 or 3 times with that little ficus that's in there. The Boyd's one definitely needs it because the plant's growing out through the mesh in the top of the tank now.
So yeah, no, they are good plants, especially.
But it's just variety. Like I want to get variety, you know.
I think it might just be the species of plant too.
Yeah,
maybe
100%. And I know that
I've been. It's getting hotter as well, so it might be too much heat. Like there's difference between light, like lots of light and heat.
Yeah. I was thinking that maybe this room's just getting a little bit too warm for it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'll have a tinker. But, yeah.
Ficus and everything, mate. You'll be right.
I was watching one of the Boyds yesterday. An earthworm, like I was digging around because she laid a 3rd clutch. Unfortunately, still infertile.
Yeah.
Only got two eggs this time. And as I was digging around, I unearthed an earthworm. And the male, he sprung from the top of the tree on one of the branches, crashed into the ficus and kind of just used it as a bit of a trampoline into one of the things. And then he dropped down on the earthworm and gave it a good munching. And,
that's gold.
Yeah, the ficus just bounces straight back from that.
Yeah, real hardy.
Yeah, especially with bigger animals.
I really think mine's gravid, my female. Hey, she's so fat. Yeah. I don't know whether she's just fat and loves to eat lots of crickets or she's actually gravid. But she's been digging though down near there's a branch in the center.
Yep.
I always put like the leaves are always scratched off it, so it's like she's kind of like scratching it to see whether this is the good spot or not.
Yep.
But she's still super fat. It's been like a week now since she's been super fat. So
mine did a lot of test digging before she dropped a clutch.
Yeah. But she sits on the branch. You can't see. You can see her feet, her hands. You can't see her head. You can't see anything else. And you just see this stomach. It's so funny. She's like, you can't see me. I'm like, I can see both sides here. I just love the way they shimmy around those branches. Hey, it's so cool.
You just see the little knobbly knees.
Yeah. There's little knees and there's gut. But she loves the crickets.
Well, that's good.
So, yeah.
It's good when they eat. Hey, like my male's come right back into it now. He's eating a hell of a lot of food. So
my guy's still a bit off it. I think he's just too busy on chasing tail, for lack of a better word.
Fair enough. I was pretty scared when I was younger too.
I know. Then I got married.
Start getting comfortable.
Yeah, the chase isn't as hard. You don't get it as often. I've got kids now.
Yeah,
enjoy food a lot more now.
I don't know about you, but I might need to get into a bit better shape before I end up going on this herp trip.
Oh, mate, tell me about it.
I reckon Luke's going to punish us.
Yeah. I walk a lot anyway, so I'm usually pretty good. So
I do too. Like, I get a fair few steps in a day, but
yeah,
he's a PT. I can just imagine him clambering over rocks like there's nothing up
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So
I'm keen. So
I'm stinging. Danny said when we're ready to pull the trigger, just to let her know, and she'll book all our flights and all that sort of gear for us. So she said she won't charge us too much.
Good. Now I know a travel agent. That's awesome. We want to plan a family trip over to Hawaii. So
yeah, she'll love you for that.
Yeah.
She's been getting smashed for work. Hey, travel agents are just getting belted now.
Is international travel? It's opening or almost open, isn't
very
it?
close to, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's very close to.
Yeah.
She always tells me the updates every day, but I don't really pay that much attention because I'm still
be
fried from my day. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yep, she's booking things left, right, and center. So she said, "Yep, when we're ready to go, book that. And if we end up doing up the Cape as well, we can book that one in."
Two planned next year.
Potentially 2 herp trips within the space of like a few months of each other, which will be pretty exciting.
We haven't really spoken about it, really. We just because I've been so busy. Like, you sent me a message, I wrote back. I was like, "Yeah, I'm in."
Yeah,
because the wife's got a girls' weekend planned, so she told me about it. I'm like, I'm going to use this to my advantage.
Yep.
She goes, "Oh, I've got a girls' weekend away." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, cool." And I'm going herping. She's like, "Oh, okay, no worries." So I was like, done.
Yep. Oh, it's super exciting. I was so stoked when you said that you were in as well, because I was like, don't get me wrong, I'm more than happy to go off into the bush with Luke and try to find all these things, but to be able to have that experience with you too, and then be able to, reminisce on it for years to come, I reckon that's going to be fantastic. So,
because everything up there will be a first for me too.
Dude, it's almost going to be a first for me as well, because as I said, I pretty much struck out when I went up there. So Luke's like, "What do you want to see?" And I was like, "Anything, everything. I don't care,
and everything.
If he's got targets he needs to knock off, I'm happy to come for the adventure." Like, I'm like, yep, I'm in for anything. I would like to see some species though. So if it just happens to line up, like, I'd love to see spiny tails.
Yep, same.
Just because that's a species that I've actually tried to look for and up there in the NT in 2 different spots and struck out. Yeah.
And that's something I used to keep too, so I'd love to see them. Anything gecko has just got me written all over it. And frogs. I'm into my frogs now too. And turtles, but I mean turtles.
It's funny how it changes, hey? Like, I absolutely love... You know what got me into frogs though? Herping got me into frogs.
Yeah.
Never used to be a frog guy. Went out with my herpo mates and they were like, "Oh, this is a such and such frog," or whatever. And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." I was like, "Oh, no, these things are really cool.
Yeah.
Wonder if you can keep these things in captivity," Like, that's what opened up my eyes to frogs, was herping.
I mean, I looked at getting my frog license probably 4 years ago now, but never did. But yeah, no, love frogs.
Is that because you reckon that only at that stage you could probably keep, like, or you could probably only find easily things like green tree frogs, and maybe you wanted something a little bit different, or is it... What were you after then?
Nothing. I didn't have any species in mind, like, or anything. I just, I've always loved the green tree frogs. I'm pretty sure they were green tree frogs because I've got some like relatives that live up at Grafton, and they'd have like heaps of them on their window. I can't remember if they were green tree frogs. I was only young.
They probably would have been.
Yeah, I think they were huge.
Yeah.
And obviously my mum was scared of them, so being a young fella, I just chase her around with a frog and scare her and this and that. But I haven't been up there probably. That would have been back when I was like 14 or 15, I reckon.
Yeah, wow. So a fair while ago then.
Yeah, I've been up there since, but never. I think I was only up there for the day or something like that. But yeah.
I love frogs. I honestly love frogs. Like, they're such a cool variety of animals, and they're very underappreciated, especially in Australian herpetoculture in particular. There seems to be very limited people actually working with a lot of species, and they are a lot of work though. If you get them breeding, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of mouths. That's a lot of cleaning.
Oh, definitely. I don't really think I have a desire to breed them. I just love keeping them.
But I think that's why you don't see so many varieties available, is because not a lot of people are willing to put in the amount of work that is required for.
Yeah.
Because Australian frogs, like, they pump out some eggs.
Oh yeah, that reminds me too. The Frog ID app. That's they've actually got a competition going. I don't know if anyone's seen it. Yeah. So basically, because I love the app, I use it all the time. My son loves just listening to the frog calls.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's actually a competition. So I think the person who records the most frog sounds, I believe, goes in the draw to win a veggie pod, a couple of veggie pods or something. Just go onto their Instagram and check out the post. But I think they said they got like 5,000 entries already in the first couple of days or something like that.
Yep.
So,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we're not sponsored or anything, but it's an awesome. I love that app, man. Like, me and my son will just sit there and just listen to frog calls, and he just cacks himself every time. They actually posted a really good. I don't know if it was in the story or a post. It was like a little ad for Frog ID, but every single noise in the ad was a frog. Like, there was a motorbike, there was like all these different sounds, but there was all frogs. Yeah. And at the end of that, it's like every single sound you heard in this ad was a frog. Like, I'm like, that was awesome. I think I shared it to my story, or might have even been on Instagram for the podcast Instagram. I can't remember.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. I've funnily enough, like, not to get too sidetracked from that, I've actually just opened an email here as I went to go and look for the Frog ID app. And it looks like we may have been invited back for the Penrith Reptile Expo next year.
Oh, it's awesome. Came for that.
Yeah, that'll be good fun. So I might have to respond to that after we record this. But no, that'll be pretty cool. I think they got it on the 13th of February. So a day just before Valentine's Day. So you can pick up your loved one's a box of snakes.
Box of snakes and some chocolates to say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spend this much money. Or you can take her out that day. So you go out that day, spend money, and then you take her out the next day.
Yep.
And spend money, and then she forgets about the money you spent the day before.
Yeah.
Or if you're lucky and she's into that, then you can go there and buy something and give it to her for Valentine's Day, but really it's for you.
Well, she could buy you one back, couldn't she?
Exactly.
That could be a win-win.
Exactly. You could buy a nice diamond, because diamonds are a girl's best friend, apparently.
I did that with my wife. So I bought her an engagement ring, and then a month later she bought me a diamond.
That's pretty cool.
She's like, okay, so that's another reason why this animal's so sentimental. Yeah, sentimental, yeah. So anyway.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah. That'll be good though. I'm keen to go back there. We might have to see if we can get a bit more of an actual booth or something, I reckon, this time, just to see how we go.
On the table. That'd be awesome. Bring some of these guys.
Yeah, potentially. We'll see. Yeah, that'd be awesome. See if we can do some sort of exhibitor type thing. We might have to pay something for that if we do that. I don't remember the laws or rules behind it, but we might be able to sort it out.
Work it out.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to bring an animal that's a little bit more fancy and a little bit more left field. Well, yeah, that is like the king of left field. I'm just trying to think.
You've got some good stuff there too, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be pretty awesome to have some of the stuff here on the table. That's got my brain. You don't even see roughies at expos, man.
No, I remember.
Very rarely.
Yeah, actually, you don't.
No.
That one was good. That one was good just because of all the lockdowns and this and that. Like, we're just kind of getting out of a lockdown. It was good to get out, see all the different animals. I think it was packed that last expo because that was the only one on.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd been there, but yeah, like, it was absolutely packed.
Well, unfortunately, Illawarra got canned this year because that was just kind of like verging on that new outbreak of COVID and all the rest of it. So
yeah,
I was really looking forward to that one because that's like a whole different crew of people that generally are down to that one as well. Like, as far as, most of the exhibitors and stuff are the same, or the vendors tend to be a lot of the same, but you still get a few extra faces and stuff like that down that way, which are quite good to catch up with. But yeah. Oh, well, what do you do? It's this virus is a crazy thing. Hopefully we're all cleared now because pretty much everyone's vaccinated. Hopefully that's a win. Who knows? But
yeah.
no, I'm
That'll be
keen.
fun.
That'll be cool if we could do that and then go herping Kakadu like a couple of weeks after that.
Yeah. What dates are we looking at? I don't even know. I don't think we really discussed it much. I was just like, yep, I'm in. After the wet season, that's all I know.
Yeah, which is a
I
little
don't
bit
even know when the
vague,
wet season ends.
unfortunately. I don't even think Luke knows when the wet season ends, so I think he's got to do some asking around up there. But
all I know is my camera will be packed, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, I might have to get another flash. I'm planning though, because like as per usual, maybe I'll leave the camera and stuff to you guys, and maybe I'll just film the whole thing. Because you only need so many photos of the same shit.
Yeah,
I can always just save all your photos onto a drive onto here, so then I've got my own little flick book later on or whatever, and
exactly.
you can have links to loaded up videos and stuff of a bit of an experience. I'm just keen to get out. Hey, like I was even this November has been so cool so far. Like I'm getting all these memories coming up lately where I'm usually been out herping for like the last 4 weeks, like pretty solid, trying to like finding all this stuff too. And I haven't been able to do it because it's been too cool.
Yeah. We had a few of those nice warmish days, but after that, nothing really come of it. It was just kind of like that. Like I've been wearing jumpers to work.
Yeah.
And I saw I think my mate shared a video on Instagram of someone he knows snowboarding because they had snow. And I'm pretty sure I saw another post from someone doing some field surveys up in Queensland, and it was snowing.
Jesus.
I think it was. Don't quote me on that.
37 in Darwin today, mate.
Yeah. It's probably 37 all year round up in Darwin.
Doesn't get too far from the mark.
Yep.
I think when I went up there in October, the coolest day was like 32 or something.
Yeah, I'm keen. Sweat it out. I could actually get some more batteries from my camera. One of them crapped itself, so.
Oh, that's no good.
Got a couple of camera batteries. Might even look at getting a GoPro, I think. Take a GoPro up there.
Oh, I so want one of the new GoPros for, like, they just seem so smooth.
Yeah.
I've got one, which would be fine if we ended up doing any underwater stuff in non-crocodile holes. But yeah.
I'll go in with freshies, but I don't know about salties. No way. Wouldn't go near the edge. I'll be like meters away.
Do you know what I would like to do though, if we do get the chance? And I'm sure we probably would, especially if we are going to Kakadu. I would like to stop past Fog Dam to see it when it's actually full.
Yeah.
Because when I went there, it was just before the wet season, so it was reasonably dry. So there wasn't much left, but a few puddles with heaps of birds and crocs in them.
Yeah.
So I'd like to actually see it where it's like the water's high, kind of up near the road and stuff as well. So that'd be kind of cool.
I've never been there, so if there's no water, hardly any water, some water, lots of water, I'll be stoked.
I still, much to Luke's disgust, I still managed to come across like 4 water pythons within 2 or 3 visits quickly up there as well. So yeah, I'd like to see one in good nick though. I'd love to see a water python in good nick because the ones that I saw were a little bit full of ticks and beaten up and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then what we're thinking, Iron Range, aren't we?
Hopefully all going to plan. I think Matt's trying to get a little group together potentially just to try to make the, a little bit cheaper. So, but I think he's got a couple of trips that he wants to get under his belt. So all going to plan. I think he's off to WA to find his 2 last strophs, and then he's seen all of them in the wild.
What's he after? Spinigerus and Stropheus?
No, I'll tell you. He did text me it. So
he's probably seen those actually. They're pretty common. Yeah. It's probably some like.
Yeah. Let me see what he's got here. Yeah, he needs to get his imbricata, and he needs to get the last 2 strophs. So he's got Wilsoni and Rankini. Left to see. So what was that? You got possums on your roof again?
I think I do. That was.
That's the second time something's going on over there.
Yeah.
Oh, life on the coast.
That's it.
I don't have that. I just got footsteps on mine. Every now and then a little kid goes nuts at about 10 o'clock at night and starts running around.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he's got
Rankini
and Wilsoni.
And that's what he needs, or that's what he's seeing?
That's what he needs.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my understanding of that one. But yeah, no, it seems like he's man, he's a guy that has herped a lot. Hey.
Yep. He's seen so much too.
Well, I think Imbricata is his last Morelia, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it is. Yeah. I think so. So I'm gonna start marking this book every time I see something now.
Which book's that? Digging it out. Oh, sacrilege! But you've got probably 6 copies of that, though, don't you?
I got another 2. One behind me.
Another one behind you. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
fair
one's
enough.
signed. This one's not.
Yeah,
so that's why I
bought
it for. I'm just gonna start putting a little mark in it every time I found something. Obviously, I'm not going to find them all, but it's a good start.
I was thinking about doing that with Scott's books, like the Lizards of Australia and the Snakes of Australia.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's kind of like a nice little field guide that I could take away with me without.
Bit smaller. But I suppose by the time you take away the bunch of them, it's probably the same as that.
Close.
Actually, yeah, I don't know, maybe not. Yeah.
Close, but I don't think it's nearly quite that bad.
Yep.
Nah, they've got nothing on that. If you add up just the snakes and the lizards, that's a massive difference.
Yeah, that's true.
Grabbing both of them out now. Look at that. There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
It's about two-thirds of the size.
No, this is just reptiles.
Oh, no, I need the frog one as well. Then I wouldn't need to just take it. No, it's reptiles.
Yeah. Looks like I need to find a frog one too.
I've been meaning to buy that one, actually. Scott's got the frog one.
Yes. I can't say I've been meaning to buy it.
You can't say that you've been... Me. Oh, yeah. Shimmy's out of screen to 6 copies of Scott's frog book behind him.
No, there's only 2 there.
You're a shocker.
I like one that I can read, and then one that just is signed and stays nice.
Yeah.
So what's... I keep limited reptiles so I can buy my books.
That's probably going to happen to me too once or if I downsize. It'll probably happen. What sort of gear do you reckon you're going to take away with us? With you when we go, I should say.
I don't know. I'll definitely take my camera gear for sure.
Yeah, well, that's a given.
Yeah. I'll probably I'm going to take quite a bit of camera gear, I think, because...
Just remember, you got to lug it.
Oh, I'll lug it all the time. It's all right. I've paid for it on flights and stuff before. It just goes on carry-on. So I basically don't take a carry-on. I just take my camera gear.
Yeah,
tripod goes in my suitcase, and then the camera gear just goes on carry-on. It was close to... Last time I went, where did I go? I think I went to Perth. It was close to the weight limit. I think I was like 100 grams off the weight limit. But because I wanted to, there's places there that I want to actually photograph landscape stuff as well. So
yeah, okay.
I'll take that landscape stuff as well as everything else.
And where do you want to take landscape photos?
Just anywhere, man. Like the countryside out there is amazing. Some of the stuff, I haven't been out there personally, but I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
The nighttime sky out there.
Yeah.
You've seen it. Is just
mind-blowing.
Insane. So yeah, do a little bit of astro stuff. Yeah, whether I just do a time lapse, and then have a nice star trail, stack a couple of images together. Even if I don't I don't have to photograph everything I see, even if I just take my phone and get a picture of something, and I've just got my camera set up and just doing a star trail for a couple of hours, that kind of thing.
That's worth it to you as well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's if I forgot the record of seeing it, yeah, it is cool, but but that kind of thing. So
yeah,
that's probably my main thing. That.
What about stuff to you're gonna need some camping gear, surely?
Yeah, so that's gonna be the hard thing, is getting camping gear over there.
Yeah,
because swag's pretty big.
I reckon one pair of undies, you can turn it inside out a couple of times, front to back.
I don't need undies, mate. I can just not wear them. I'm fine without them.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, swag's probably my priority.
Yeah.
Swag and a backpack that I can carry water and, you know, maybe a small snake hook or
You
something
might
in.
find it might be cheaper to post it
The swag. Yeah,
than
right.
take it on the plane.
I'll have to actually have
Oh
a look
yeah,
at it.
no,
It's
your
still
wife's a
new in the
travel
box.
agent though, so it might be all right.
Oh, she'll work some magic for us, don't you worry.
Yeah, but that's and then clothes. Like I could wear the same pair of clothes.
Well, if you're doing
Doesn't
like,
bother me.
yeah, if you're doing like 5 days or something like that, like I honestly reckon you'd get away with like 2 pairs of clothes.
If
Because
there's
let's face it,
freshwater swimming holes, I can
yeah,
just take 2 pairs of clothes, mate.
that's what I mean. As
Yep.
you know, if you can get a swim in here or there,
Yep.
which, you know, if we end up in Litchfield, like that's pretty good for swimming.
Yep.
You know, not too sure about too many spots in Kakadu, but I'm sure Luke will be able to. I think Luke's already sussed a couple. But yeah, you don't really need that much, hey?
No.
The only other thing that I was thinking of is like a little inflatable pillow. Because I'm not sure if my swag's actually got one of those like built-in pillow type things in it.
Mine doesn't.
Yeah, so you can get like these little camp pillows. They're like $17 on eBay that I think you can just blow up. And they actually just, you know, that's something that at least you can crush down every night.
Yeah.
You know, and if it,
camera gear. Most of my weight will be in camera gear.
have you? This is the thing, right? Like, I watch a lot of that Scotty's Gone Walkabout on YouTube. I think Eric got me onto him originally, actually.
I haven't actually watched that. You told me about it, but I don't get
Yeah.
much time to watch YouTube though.
I'll come off it. You got toilet breaks. You don't have to just watch me.
True. Actually, no, I got into a good video the other day. It's a different topic, but keep going.
Okay, well, yeah. So Scotty's Gone Walkabout. He's an Australian guy that basically goes out into the bush and does like little night camps here and there. And he kind of walks into wherever he goes and takes all of his gear with him, or he takes a canoe or something like that. And it's kind of cool seeing some of the stuff that he takes. Like, it's all pretty top notch because he's got good sponsors and all the rest of it. But it's also kind of cool to go, okay, that's probably not a bad idea to take with you on a few of these sort of trips. And yeah, I think something like a pillow. Like, even if it is an inflatable pillow, like that's going to make a bit of difference for you.
Yeah,
somewhere to lay your head at the end of the day when you come home at 3 a.m. or something like that after looking at Oedura.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, you got those camp tents that are pretty small. Swags are pretty bulky once they're undone.
It's true. Like, it's not exactly like it's going to be cold.
No, it's different if you drive. Like, you can just chuck the swag on the car, but you know, flying up there, the swag's pretty bulky.
I'll have to have a look at mine. I have to roll it out and see what it's like.
Yeah,
it's still all new in the box. I still haven't cracked it out, and it's been in the box.
What one did you get? What have you got?
My folks got it for me. Hey,
yeah,
they don't mind going on a camp trip, so they bought me whatever this one is, and I've been meaning to crack it out for a while now. But
yeah, I've had mine for years. My swag. Yeah. She's well worn in, my swag.
I want mine to be well worn in. That's the thing. I just haven't had an opportunity. At some stage, my dad and I were planning to do a driving trip out to Uluru, and that's where we were going to do it. We were just going to kind of like drive a few hours every day and camp up. But just one thing led to another, and it kind of ended up getting a little bit put to the side. And yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'd still love to do that with him, though. I reckon that'd be an awesome trip.
Oh, yeah.
Actually drive it.
I'd love to drive it.
Down through South Australia. Well, you could go up the top too. You could go up through Queensland, but I reckon I'd like to go down and up.
Yeah, I'd love to drive out there and just see all the different things and here and there on the way. So
yeah,
I think that's part of the, obviously, like when you kind of strap for time, you know, it's like flying in's easy, but driving there'd be pretty cool. I think I've actually got a cousin that lives at Fitzroy Crossing up in Western Australia there somewhere, top of Western Australia.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I did. That was one thing that Luke said as well. He's like, oh, maybe we could duck across into WA if they're allowing us in and maybe go to like Kununurra or something like that. I'm like, dude, I'm down for whatever.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Chance to go see Kimberley Rocks? Woo, I'm in.
Oh, whatever. Get the camera. I have to get some more memory cards, actually. I filled them up pretty quick.
Yeah, it's it all adds up, hey, because you end up going, oh, geez, I need to buy another 3 or 4 memory cards or something before I go, and there goes another couple $100 if you're getting the good ones.
Yeah, well, my camera's 36 megapixels, so
all right,
fills up real quick. Real quick. What's this one? I've got one here that I went out there the other day. It is a 32 gigabyte, and I can only get gonna say 200 pictures on it, maybe.
Wow, you're shooting raw though, aren't you?
Yeah. And I have a SD backup that I shoot. It's JPEG, so raw goes to the SD, not SD, CF card, and then JPEG goes back up to the SD card.
Yeah, okay.
So I think I can get about 1,000 on a 64 gig SD card, I think, of JPEGs. But yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Crazy. I was going to say, I've lost my train of thought now. My green tree python.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. What's happening?
She is 9 days out from 50 days. No, 11 days out from 50 days. 26th of November.
Yep.
Is 50 days, which is apparently the magic number for maternal and green tree pythons. Apparently.
Yep.
Obviously, give or take about 5 days with that either side.
Yeah.
Usually, but
so anywhere from 5 days.
Pretty much.
Yep. That's gone quick. That's gone really quick.
Maybe
are you're going to just let them hatch, aren't you? Yeah.
If I see one pip, then I'll probably start intervening.
Yes, because
yeah,
they would be hard to find in that enclosure. Have you sealed that gap on the sliding door?
No, not yet.
That might be something worth doing pretty quick.
Yeah, I might even just shove paper or something in it.
Yeah,
just for the time being. They might get out there, wouldn't they?
100% they will. 100%.
Fuck, that'd just be my luck too. I've already lost 2 male green tree pythons, and then all of a sudden I'd find like a shriveled up green tree python in the back of my herp room and kick myself.
Yeah, they'll definitely get out that.
I didn't even think about that. I've thought about everything else. I haven't thought about that.
Because you got quite a bit of leaf litter in there too, eh?
Tons,
yeah.
Tons. Absolute tons. Like, at the moment that I have to go through that enclosure, it'll be with a fine-tooth comb.
Every individual leaf will be pulled out.
Yep.
Individually.
It'll be a pain in the ass.
Every crack, every crevice.
Yeah. But
do you think you'll do it again?
Would I do it again?
Provided everything goes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I haven't had to do anything. The eggs, even today. So to give a little bit of a backstory to everybody that is listening at home, she did develop a bit of a what is it called? Water blister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's developed a little bit of a water blister above her eye, which I've just kind of been keeping an eye on, and it's not looking too bad. But I am considering, just like for peace of mind, a vet trip after she's done doing what she's doing. So I kind of had to make the tough call whether to let her keep going or to take her off the eggs, and I decided to, for the time being, as long as it didn't get any worse, let her just keep going. The eggs look perfect. Like, they're so white. They're still reasonably full. You know, like, they don't look like they're weakening or anything like that.
Yep.
I have been taking a water bowl down to her over the course of the last couple of weeks and just kind of offering it right next to her, and she's been drinking off there, because I don't think she's even getting off the clutch to go and get a drink at night. And tonight I saw her, she was kind of like poking her head around, and I think it's because I was defrosting a whole bunch of rodents in the room and feeding a lot of the other snakes, and I was like, you know what, I just need to throw her a mouse or a rat rather. I was like, I just feel so bad for her, and she ate a rat and sat on the clutch. So I just thought, you know what, even if that gives you a little bit of energy just to plump back up a little bit,
yeah,
you know, And if that gets her closer to having a shed and hopefully getting rid of this kind of blistery goodness around her eye, then that'll get it off her. But the eggs look perfect, man.
How many eggs do you know? Or rough?
100% there's 8, but I think there might be 9, potentially 10.
Yeah.
Because
inside.
Yeah, and like around the back of it. Like I could get, she pretty much climbed off the eggs one night, and without opening up the cage, I could see 8. So definitely 8. Potentially 9 or 10, I'd say, at a guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, man, if I get a few greens out, I'd be laughing.
Mate, even if you got 1 out, you'd be stoked.
Just the fact to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the crazy part to me, is because it's just so out of the norm for myself. You know, I've never done maternal, so it's unreal though. Hey, just watching it like actually shiver on the eggs, and like it's almost violent how she shivers. Like it's not a kind of like just a nice little quiver. It's like a full, like, looks like
shake.
It looks like she's
like scrambling those eggs.
I was gonna say, it looks like she's making scrambled eggs.
Yeah, right.
But it's cool to watch.
You've had the camera on it too, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you can do like a little time lapse kind of. That'd be awesome.
Well, I mean,
you haven't been recording, have you? Does it record?
You can record from it, but I've got to be on the phone, or I've got to put an SD card into it. So, and to be honest, 9 times out of 10, she's sitting on the clutch. Like she's
happening.
She's not doing a hell of a lot of exciting stuff. So I haven't really filmed a lot of it, to be quite honest. I have kind of just been taking notes, or taking mental notes of what like the humidity and the temperature is doing, because like even the other day it got up to like 32 degrees where she was sitting, which is like, that's pretty warm. But
was that ambient temperature, like in the room, or was that her raising it to 32?
It was right next to her.
Okay.
So the thermometer probe for that was like pretty much up against her coil.
Yeah, okay.
So, it's, and to be honest, the heat panel to her enclosure has been turning off reasonably regularly lately too, because the room gets to a certain temperature and then Grid Connect cuts it all.
Yeah.
So, she does a pretty good job of raising that temperature. I didn't even think that would be possible, because I've like temp gunned her a couple of times and she's been like 31, 32. And then like I temp gun the warm end once the heat panel's off, and that's like 27.
Yeah, right.
So I've just seen that variance in
like 5 degrees.
Yeah, well, the fact that she can do that just by shivering her body.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. But
what kind of lows are you getting?
27. Like at her?
Yeah. Obviously, because you're not inside the coils, but no, still pretty good data.
Yeah, it's cool to see. And then like as I said, like this is like pretty much up against a coil. If not, she might bump it off every now and then, and it might be like an inch away from a coil. And then like humidity's anywhere from about 60 to, or low 60s to about 78% on average. So
yeah,
I've just been kind of like maybe once a week I do like a light spritz of the back wall and like a little bit down the warm end of the enclosure, which is the opposite end that she's sitting to. Just because I want to bump up the relative humidity. I don't want to wet the eggs. Any of that sort of stuff.
Will kill the eggs a bit.
Yeah. And she's already got that one little water blister. So
yeah,
the last thing I want to do is cause her any more grief than she needs. But it's cool. It's amazing, hey? Like it's just.
I think that's one thing I'd love to do. Some maternal incubation.
I highly recommend it, because it's just it's, even though I'm definitely I'm not as experienced as a lot of guys out there when it comes to breeding snakes. I've only done it, well, I think I've done it less than, I've probably done it more than 10 times now. But in saying that, like just to do something completely different and out of my league. Well, I thought it was out of my league, but to be able to do it, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Although I haven't done it yet, still got to hatch these things. So all experience.
Not too long now, hopefully.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm
not going to lie. Little buggers feeding. Lucky you've got some hopping mice there, mate. Scenting.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
I'd feel bad for the little mice, though.
You could just scent that. Yeah, true. Well, even if you could, you could, you got heaps of things you can scent with anyway, luckily. Geckos, skins.
Frogs.
Yeah. Yeah, frogs. Yeah,
Just rub a few pinky heads on their bellies. I'm sure the frogs
that's
would
it.
love that.
I'll probably eat it.
They
Although they're
probably
pretty
would.
small, those. Yeah, they're pretty small, those guys. Anyway.
My frogs are pretty tiny.
Yeah.
They're not much bigger than a pinky themselves.
Yeah.
No, it is
I
pretty
haven't heard
exciting.
his cameo tonight, actually.
I'm actually a little bit surprised.
Yeah.
Might have to go check on him.
Usually makes a bit of a cameo every episode.
Yeah, a little bit bizarre.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bit dry in his enclosure today. But no,
But
I have
you've made a nice rain system.
Yeah, I have. Oh, you wouldn't be able to see it now either, because I could show it to you on the Boyds. But
you got in the Boyds too.
Yeah. So I did it on the frogs and I did it on the Boyds.
Yep.
Just because I thought, you know what, the Boyds
Why
are being
not?
a rainforest animal.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing for them, is to have that kind of drip effect. But yeah, essentially I kind of made this couple of drippers out of some aquarium dosing pumps, which are for pumping liquids into aquariums. And I basically just tapped them into the Mist King reservoir and used some irrigation fittings and line to kind of rig up a bit of a hard, what would you call it? Like a little hard frame of tubing with a whole bunch of pinholes in it. And then, these dosing pumps can just kind of push like 100 mil or something through them and drip out a whole bunch of moisture, a bit more like a rain droplet, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not it's not a mist.
No.
Yeah, so. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked with them how they turned off. I think they're going to need a little bit of tweaking here and there, but it's all in good fun at the end of the day to see if it all works. The boys are probably going to hate me now. I've just turned the light on top of them and see if I can give them a bit of a nighttime shower.
So you just run the same line from the pump around to those ones.
Yeah. So no,
I can see the light.
You won't be able to see it too much, but yeah, I'll probably stop that before I soak them too much. So essentially it's just like a little thin, almost like an aquarium airline hose that's run around the room.
Similar size to the Mist King hose?
Little bit smaller.
Okay.
Yeah, so internal diameters, I think 4 mil, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a little bit smaller than that John Guest hosing. But yeah, no, it's really cool. Hey, just to kind of give them that option for maybe every 4 days to 7 days they can get a little bit of a little extra rainstorm that's a little bit different to the mist, I suppose.
Yeah.
The
mist is good, but that rain is pretty handy, especially for the larger enclosure, I reckon.
I think it's going to be a game changer for the Boyds, because as soon as I started doing it, one of the drips was going into the water bowl, and the male, he saw that. He jumped straight down, stuck his head under the drip, and it was just like rolling down off his head, and he started sculling water. Because I quite often, because obviously they very rarely seem to drink from a water bowl. Obviously, it's there for them. I tend to have to mist him in particular, like with a hand mister.
I do the same.
Yeah.
Like I know they've got the Mist King, but because I do a little bit extra water for some of the plants as well, but I'll do the same. I'll just put the mister over them and just
give them a bit, make sure they're getting hydrated. Yeah. So
I've never seen him drink from the water bowl.
Well, that's the first time I had, and it wasn't because he had his face in the water bowl, but it was because it was hitting him on the head. So I think because the drop was hitting him on the head, that was stimulating him to drink. Yeah. But yeah, thought that was pretty cool to kind of just hook up. It was all stuff I had lying around. I think it cost me $10 in irrigation fittings from Bunnings. So
yeah, right.
It wasn't.
Oh, that's handy that you get the same size fittings at Bunnings, though. You don't have to buy certain odd size fitting that you got to get from somewhere else because they're so expensive.
Yeah. That was the thing, is because it's that like the watering system that you get for your garden and stuff from there. I think it's made by Pope or something like that. Like it's just a cheap Bunnings brand. But yeah, I think I bought a 10-meter roll of irrigation for irrigation line for $7, and then a bunch of T pieces for $2 or $3. So
yeah, it's like what, 3/4 of an inch or something like that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird size.
Yeah.
But no, it was I thought it was worthwhile just for something to kind of tinker around with and chuck together. I was a little bit like, oh, what can I do to just change things up?
You know, you sent me the video of the. I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty cool.
But yeah, and you were saying the other day too that you found out the sexy akimbo.
I'm having bad luck, dude. Well, not bad luck.
That's
It's
probably
good
good
luck.
luck almost.
But in saying that, I just wish that. So, went in to check on the Kimbo in the morning. And there's an egg just sitting in the middle of the enclosure. I'm like, what the fuck is that from? Yeah. So, turns out she's a girl. Mr. Wiggles is Mrs. Wiggles. So,
Call her Emma.
yeah, there you go. No, she quit. She's out. So,
Oh, that's right. She's too.
who'd
Yeah.
they replace her with? Somebody
Not
else.
sure.
There's a new Wiggle now. I'd have to call
She
it
was
Greg.
huge.
Yeah, she was
Emma
popular.
Wiggle. Yeah.
Yeah, my nephew's going to be very heartbroken, I think. But yeah, she's a female.
Yeah.
She squirted 4 eggs out, all in all, and I honestly thought that lizard was a male. Like, same as Loki, I thought I could see like hemipenal bulges and things on it, but I'm clearly wrong.
Yep.
So
They're a bit tricky to sex monitors, aren't they?
they can be.
Yeah.
Can be.
Obviously.
Yeah. It's funny though, because like that was early on where I was mucking around with like trying to sex that animal. I was doing like the trans illumination where you're going to use your phone torch or whatever through the tail base, and I was pretty certain I could see some veins there. But you know, it is what it is. I think later on, now that I'm looking at it, I'm going, it's a pretty slender head, you know. So that would, you know, I obviously just haven't paid too much attention to sexing the animal because I'm like, well, I don't have 2 of them, so there's no real, you know, I'm just enjoying the animal more than anything. So. Yeah.
But at least you found out before you bought, you know, another female.
Well, I was asking Rob, I'm like, I need a girl.
It's kind of lucky.
Yeah, that might have worked out to my advantage, I think, a little bit. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. I'm pretty sure she's got all the eggs out now. So, you know, she seems pretty happy. She's starting to fatten back up and eating a bit of food and stuff like that. But I'm not trying. I'm not going to try to fatten her up too much because I don't want her to kind of get stuck in a cycle of doing that either. Because I just don't need her pumping out eggs if she doesn't need to.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Actually, speaking about pumping out eggs, I'm pretty sure Loki's gearing up for another clutch.
Another one.
Yeah.
You going to try and incubate him this time? See, you know.
Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on her because if she does drop them just for giggles, I'd like to see if she happens to be patho by any means.
Yeah, so, you never know.
It'd be cool to do maternal incubation with a python in 1 year, and it'd be cool to hatch a patho monitor.
Yeah.
So
that'd be a couple of big ticks in your book, mate.
Yeah.
Is there any recorded pathos in Kimbos?
I tried to do a bit of research on that the other day after we were kind of briefly talking about it, and I couldn't find anything. I think it was only in the Indicus complex that I could find it. So or that I read of. I'm sure it does happen in other groups as well.
Happen, though, I guess.
Well, yeah, exactly. For giggles, I did throw those Kimbo eggs in the incubator. Obviously, they looked infertile. They look like they're going to mush already, so doesn't look like there was much there. Should have fed them to Loki, but you know, anyway.
What do you do? What do you do?
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, Loki's looking like a football at the moment, so I dare say she's starting to dig around a bit. So
yeah,
hopefully I can catch these ones before they sit in the nest box for a month or so
and crisp out.
Yeah, turn into egg jerky.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome.
Unfortunately, I did have some bad luck with eggs recently too. One of the Gillen's monitors that in that enclosure there, she dropped a clutch of 7 infertile eggs on me. So she was one of the girls from the breeding loan that I've got.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, she seems to have bombed out.
First clutch, or is that?
No, so I did a bit of digging back into the history of her. I think she's, I want to say 5 or 6 years old. So she's a proven breeder. Apparently, she was the better of the 2 breeders for that particular gentleman. But yeah, no, she seems to have just bombed out this year. So going to hold on to her to maybe about February, as well as her sister as well, who I'm kind of hoping is pregnant at the moment, gravid brother. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't like double clutching Gillen's monitor just doesn't seem to be my thing. I don't seem to be able to get 2 clutches out of him in a year, so bit disappointing there. But it's the way it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't win them all.
No, you can't hold them all either.
Wow, that's challenge accepted.
Your
mate.
inbox would be flooded, I reckon.
It's a disaster.
Yeah,
it's honestly a disaster. But no, I'm hopefully looking to trade out some Gillens this year. So
yeah,
get some different animals in, all going to plan.
Yeah.
But actually, my original female Gillen's monitors tonight, she was in the nest box digging around. So maybe I'll get a good clutch out of them at least. The OGs,
the originals,
original Gillen's.
Yeah, quite a few now. No, that'll be good because they're just another one of the things that are kind of vanished off the face of the earth.
They haven't vanished; they're just all here. Yeah, no, they have seriously, and I don't understand why. Like, because
I mean, I had one; they were awesome, but
have you only had the one though?
Yeah, I think one. Yeah, was it one? Yeah, it was one.
You sold it like hotcakes too. I remember that. Went up for
like that.
Went up for $350 and it was gone in an instant.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I could have sold that for more.
I remember saying that. I'm like, he's missing another 250 on there.
Yeah,
that's the going rate.
But that's what I paid for it. I just sold what I paid for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm not in it for money or anything like that. But yeah, I was like, don't get me wrong, I loved it. It was awesome to watch it, but I don't know, it just wasn't kind of my thing at the time, if that makes sense.
100%. Can't be into everything.
Always wanted Gillens, like ever since I first got like into reptiles, I always wanted Gillens. But I think it might be a bit different now though, maybe. But in saying that, like I don't really have the space and the want for them, so it's not on my list. My list is probably shrunk again, actually, to be honest.
Is this after last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just getting out and probably shrunk quite a bit. I don't like. I still love the Kimbos, but I don't even know if I'd get Kimbos anymore, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
I think the space could be better utilized with something else. But I'd love Pilbarensis, but we can't have them, obviously.
Yep.
I don't know. In saying that, I don't know. I do love the Kimbos still. They're still a possibility down the track, but yeah, I think the space wise and what I could do with other things and time as well. Time's the other thing. It's
what's your time worth?
Exactly. What's my time worth?
That is what I've been thinking about.
But I don't know. I think the other thing too is maybe like after seeing that picture of that one Ross posted, I know it was a younger juvenile, but the color on that, if we had colors like that, I'd probably aim for something like that, I think.
Yeah.
But that's just personal taste, really, at the end of the day.
Go for the Ferrari, not the Kia.
Nothing wrong with the Kia, mate. You can probably get more miles on the Kia than you on the Ferrari.
That's for sure. Yeah. No,
you can
I know
have
what
more
you mean.
keys than you can have a Ferrari. But yeah. I don't know. But then I'd be happy with one of them if I just had, a nice one kind of thing. So.
Oh, mate, I've had one for the last, 3 years?
Yeah.
I've just been enjoying just having that animal, and especially now that it's a little bit older and it's a little bit bolder. Yeah. I think another reason that it hasn't been so bold is it is a female, and females of most monitor species, in my opinion, don't tend to be as bold.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice just enjoying an animal for the animal. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely one of those things that, even if I never got another Kimbo, I'd be happy.
I think that's the thing with monitors too, though, is they're very intelligent. So you actually have that interaction with them.
Yep.
Whereas a lot of the other stuff, you don't quite have that interaction. I mean, you can pull your beardy out of beardy or sit on your shoulder and that, but there's that intellectual thing that they have. Like you walk in the room and they look at you like, you know, and they're examining the surroundings, they're examining you, like they're looking, well, what do you got in your hand, you know, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Like there's just that extra little element to varanids that there isn't with other things, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to explain until you've actually kept them, really, I reckon, and seen them, just the intelligence that they've got.
Have you kept any other goannas apart from the little pygmy?
No. I've seen a bunch, I've been around a bunch, but I haven't kept them.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter that it's a pygmy or a mulga monitor or whatever. You know, like they're the exact same thing, just in a tinier package.
Yeah.
But they are super intelligent, and it is that too. And Loki gives me so much uphill as well, just because obviously she's a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger, yeah.
She's starting to become a lot bolder. Like
Yeah.
even the other day, because obviously she seems to be kind of really wanting food at the moment because she's probably making these eggs, you know. But yeah, she what did I do? I opened up the cage to do something, and I didn't have the pink feeding tongs with me because that's usually like a trigger for her for food. Like I've got that because
Yeah.
it's kind of like a bit of a visual cue to know that she's going to get fed. But she she bluff charged me. She full got out the enclosure and everything. Like I had to like back out of the enclosure with my hands right up, like away from her because I thought she was about to take my finger. And yeah, she was like outside of the enclosure, and you could tell that she was like switched on or whatever. And I was just like, kind of shut the door behind me so she didn't end up out in the lounge room. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even know how this is going to play out here. And then she like slowly kind of like looked around and got back to her enclosure and clawed her way back in. And I was like, that was weird, you know, like there's no food involved. There's no food in the room or anything like that she would have been able to smell.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, she just wanted to test me, I think. So
Yeah. I had a mate that used to have a Lacey years ago. And man, they can be super intimidating. This thing was so intimidating. It had an attitude.
yeah.
And it like you basically like it was if you went to the enclosure, it was fine. As soon as the lid opened, it was just food mode, and it was scary. Like, you know, you see them in the wild, the pick, like, you know, up Summersby Falls and that, they're all around the picnic areas like constantly. So as a kid, you see them all the time. They're pretty chill. Like you can get relatively close, but this thing, like, you know, it gave me a new appreciation for monitors, just of how quick and how quickly things can go wrong. That's
They are a
the
weapon.
main thing. Like in an instant, it could just go from, you know, it's there, and then next instant, you know, there's stitches and this and that. Like, yeah,
I think that's why I'm happy with Lokes just being the one
yeah,
bigger monitor. And you know, she'd be pushing 4 foot now. That's big enough. You know,
yeah,
she's still big enough to cause some good harm.
yeah.
But like a big Lacey or you know a Lacey, they're a weapon. Like they've got some
Oh, definitely.
serious teeth on them, some serious claws, all the rest of it. Like they're not to be mucked around with. And I think
No,
that's a bit of a downfall. Is they're such a pretty monitor, and I think a lot of people out there want to go. I want to be that guy with that big tame pet monitor or whatever. And
yeah,
you know, if a monitor's kept properly, they aren't like that, you know, or very
yeah.
rarely are they like that. There's a few exceptions to the rule out there, but
Oh,
it's,
definitely.
you know, that's why you always see like yearling lace monitors coming back up for sale. It's like they've gotten to the point where they're starting to give the owners a bit of.
That's right. And I think the other thing is too is the time. Like you got to put the time into them as well.
Mm,
Like if you don't put that time in, you kind of off the bat, if you're a little bit hesitant
yep.
off the bat, and you're always that little bit hesitant, they're going to pick up on those cues. But you know,
Yep.
if you put the time in and you know do the things right, I think you shouldn't have too much of an issue. But there's always those outliers.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I do love them though. I'm not gonna lie. There's nothing better than a nice lacy Parentes though, man. They're stunning.
Yeah. Look, I can appreciate all the big stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I find the Adachi has really got my heart. Like
Oh, definitely.
just the small stuff. I think that the amount of patterns and colors and stuff you can get in these tiny monitors,
Yeah,
like that's what gets me. Even if you include some of like the tree monitors and stuff into there, like the Scalaris and that, like you get some awesome looking Scalaris.
yeah. I love some of the Tristis too.
Mm. Yeah.
But yeah.
My Scalaris peloensis, that's an animal that I like. As much as it hurt me to let it go, I knew it went to good hands, but like just looking at that animal every day, I was like, wow, these whites on blacks with red spots on the back and everything. Like that was an impressive looking animal. He was a pretty big monitor too. Even for a Scalaris, they were, it's a good looking lizard.
Yeah, no, there's some stunning monitors out there for sure. Well, we're lucky in Australia.
We are the land of the monitor.
Exactly. But I think we're lucky having a lot of those smaller ones too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's stacks out there.
Yeah.
Even, all the tiny stuff like Primordius and Kingorum and
Brevicorta.
Yeah, Brevies, Stores.
Yeah.
I love all
lots of stuff.
Gillen's, Busheye.
Yep.
Quarterlineatus. Yeah.
The list goes on.
The list does go on.
But what are you getting out of it, Luke?
Well, that's it. That is 100% it, and that's half the reason why I just need to pull the reins in. I'm committing to the couple of more purchases or swaps rather that I've had planned for a long time, because I think that's something that I'm still very interested in. And then I'm just going to see how I go in about another 6 months and see where I go from there. And if I happen to start becoming a proven breeder by that stage, I will have to start cutting some things. So,
yeah,
is what it is.
Yeah, that's it. And the fun begins, mate.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be disappointed to see some stuff go. I definitely have to really think about what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, it'll always be like that, but at the same time too, like, there's nothing better than having your own offspring, so to speak.
Yeah.
Especially if they share the hobby too.
Well, that's it.
I kind of love it, so
I don't think my kids would have a choice.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of just like it's there all the time.
Yeah, that's right. It's in the house. Like it's the room next door. Like if they're in the living room, it's just there. Like my guys are always in the backyard, and every time I come home, they're like they want to come down in here and have a look and stuff. But it's in the same. Pretty much, they don't have to go far at yours.
Yeah. No far at all. I'll have to start putting locks on everything. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the good thing I like about these PVC enclosures. They got keyed locks.
Yeah, I just get the Exoterra barcode things on all of these. Like those little
code ones.
Spin code locks or whatever.
The only thing is that you can still open the door enough for geckos to get out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just twist tie them or something.
Yeah, that's handy, the little twist tie.
Yeah. Oh, well, what do you reckon, mate? Enough rambling for one night?
Yeah, mate. Everyone's probably over-listened to our voices for the time being, I think.
Well, I've enjoyed this because, we haven't actually talked that much. Like, usually you and I do message each other probably at least every other day talking about something. So
it's usually just been the quick message here, there, and then, like, I'll read it and forget to reply or vice versa.
Yeah. But, well, we've both been flat stick.
So. Yeah, and both had a whiskey tonight too. It was good.
Yep. Still on the dimples. You got the Dugite whiskey.
Right. Yeah, I got a nice bottle of Dugite whiskey. Got that in the mail today. I thought, perfect. Crack it open. That's actually really nice. I'm actually enjoying it.
I might have to give it a try. Maybe I could ask for one of those for Chrissy.
Yeah,
it's a nice little present.
Yeah,
or maybe if I get a decent bonus at the end of the year, I might spoil myself.
Got to get used to drinking it without a mixer though. That was a bit hard, a bit rough. Warms the old chest up, I'll tell you that. It's smooth. Oh, it's smoother than a lot of the other stuff out there. That's for sure. I'm a fan. Let's put it that way.
You'd buy it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. It's one of those ones that you'd buy that it'd just sit on the shelf, and you'd have like enjoy one every now and then, if that makes sense.
Not a regular.
Like if you had someone over, no, it wouldn't be like if you want a whiskey here and there, and you like your mixes, you wouldn't buy that to mix with.
Yeah.
But no, it's tasty. I do like it.
Oh, well, that's a good one to keep then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'd like to say a massive thank you to Eric and Owen and the rest of the MPR crew for having us. If you'd like to contact them, it's best to find them at moreliapythonradio.net and email them at info@moreliapythonradio.net. As far as contacting us in our social media platforms, you can email us at australianherpetoculture@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook as well. Make sure you check out our Teespring store for podcast merch. The link is on the Facebook page. To see more of what Jason is doing, make sure to follow him on Facebook and Instagram at The Gecko Effect. For myself, you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, and Teespring under Beach of Scaly Beasts. Guys, we'd love to have you back here next week for another episode of the Australian Herpetoculture Podcast. Good night, guys.
Good night.